going.
Mona, 901.
Okay, so I have already talked to May about this, but I also wanted to bring it to you guys. So she talked to you guys when she came in to talk about priority initiatives. One of them is kind of co-occurring and trying to get the region more co-occurring. So in January, there is a co-occurring symposium up in Rochester, but because it's out of state, I want to get you guys permission to attend that. The region funds it, so it's not something that the county is funding, but I still want to make sure that you guys, I have your blessing to leave the state. So the training itself is $185, hotel room for 2 nights, it's $79 a night so that's like $343 with food. I'm going to say probably about $400. It is in the budget, but so.
May's going to that too?
No, because it's RGB that day. Otherwise, she wants to go. But because it's less important for me to be at RGB than her, she would rather me go in her place, because otherwise she wanted to go as well.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
We need a form.
I was going to say, yeah, do we need a formal, like,
Okay.
Okay. I'll make the motion that we approve going to the out-of-state meeting for Mona.
Second.
Rochester.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Haley, do you need me to send you anything? Or just like when I get the receipts and stuff? I just didn't know if you
You're driving
needed.
the
Yeah.
county car and all that.
Yeah,
so-
Rochester's a lot less, scary than Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you needed like any kind of an agenda or any kind of.
I would always recommend when you turn in your claims for your travel, just attach the agenda items. That way.
Because I've got it printed just so I'll
Yep.
attach all of it
Because when the
together.
auditors pick those claims, then they can see what dates or what.
Perfect. I will keep this then and attach it when the time comes.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay, the minutes, motion to approve, please. See anything wrong? Have you read that, explain that out loud, or? That kind of makes sense, lower.
Hudson said there was still remaining, remaining chemicals.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
chemicals from last year, yeah. That's nice. Yep, all that chemicals. We were talking about the chemicals. So
Yep, I know it. We know what you were talking
Yeah.
about, but
I'll-
minutes doesn't
I'll add that word.
explain it. Perfect.
Okay.
No,
You made the motion.
Yeah.
I'll second with that correction.
adding chemicals, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I need to be in this.
No, that's fine. I'm just, last one, I forward to this one.
You need a motion to approve that.
Yes, I do.
I'll make the motion that we approve the vacation carryover for Sarah Wagner.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Of which is to be used by the end of March.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the airport?
So, they brought me their, payment back from the 60,000. Then Nicole had all the interest figured here.
Okay.
So she figured the original loan rate was 120, the rate 100 or 1.5%, and there was 227 days from when we signed the agreement. So she put that at $1,119.45 for interest. So they paid us back $61,119.45 because you guys agreed to give them the 60.
Correct.
That's deposited, and we are all good on that.
Okay.
I just wanted you to acknowledge it so that we have it on record when we receive it.
Okay. So that we acknowledge their payment plus interest.
Second. All in favor? Any
Aye.
acknowledgement?
Aye.
Aye. Perfect.
And then I did just get notice from Melinda, remember I was telling you about that additional money I applied for?
Yep.
For the local tribal thing?
Yep.
We got a $50,000 deposit on it.
Really?
I
Wow.
think it was what, 2 weeks ago I applied?
Yeah.
So I had to go online on that US Treasury like I did for the ARPA funds, which luckily I had all that hard stuff done and for our governmental entity thing.
And found out the particulars of that?
No, so that's what her and I are gonna have to work on that. I don't know if I have to create a new fund or if I can go in with the American Rescue one. So if I have to do a new fund, I'll put that on the agenda. I'll try to find out.
If you thought there might be some
Yeah,
limitation.
yeah, so.
Hmm.
That's kind of too.
So why didn't we get that?
Well, I think it's because we had some federal ground stuff in the tribal. I don't know if that had to do with like some wetland. I'm not 100% sure, but we were on the list that we qualified for it, so I went for it.
I can't think of any place in the county.
Even at Belle Plaine, we have some. I think.
Oh,
That's what I was thinking offhand.
I guess they gave it to us. That's good.
I'm gonna need it for something specific someday.
Are you gonna be in charge of the deal from Barstown here?
And I went.
Are you gonna be the one representing Barstown?
That Juno source thing, the waiver. We did that for
I didn't think so.
You don't know anything about it?
Myron.
Well, I
He
do.
does.
I know about it, but I didn't know it. I figured it's something that Myron was probably.
Myron's gonna be in, you think?
Well, he'll be in this morning, but he passed this on to you guys last week.
I know,
It's similar to the one we did for Pamela.
right. And I'm guessing that you're gonna be here maybe, you don't know either.
I was gonna be here till 9:30.
Okay. Good, to see that he won't be here till 9:50, right?
We got that in the mail. So it says the address is up 2188 78th Street in Leeward Township. So they want to put separation distance for the newer stories.
Mhm.
There's a right of way. And it's gonna be, it's supposed to be what, 100 foot right away, and it's gonna be less than that.
How about any reports then, we got minutes to kill?
Obviously, I don't. Did you go last Friday?
Yes. Regular meeting really wasn't for,
East Central Iowa Juvenile Detention.
and I was gonna bring you up the notes. They're in the other pickup. I'll get them to you.
Sure.
But, their, new facility or their new addition is operable. We didn't have a tour, but I guess it is operable.
And they say it should be about ready. Yeah.
I was gonna give everybody, all the people that were in there, a Christmas gift of like just some candy or something, you know.
Oh, the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
There ain't nothing, no.
No. No. Nice thought. Yeah. Probably they don't need any sugar to get strong.
Well, I was gonna give them, just a little box of candy from, what the FFA was putting out. It's all sealed packages and everything. It's, I think it's a sad situation, those kids. I mean, they're not gonna get out, they can't, it's a bad deal. And some of them are already kind of on the negative side of things, you know, they're not. Then they get out into society and they can't function. Bad deal. But they're there for a reason, I guess.
Well, it's the adult wage, that's what it is, you know, section, and they're in there for some serious crimes. It's not that they just beat up a neighborhood kid. You don't see them in there for murder.
Yeah. Or there's other things too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Evidence.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sometimes we have to realize that all the choices we make in life.
Yeah, but a lot of them are just kids. I mean, bad deal. But it's amazing the area that they cover. They cover from Minnesota to Missouri, in the center part of the state. I don't know how many counties they got. I think it's almost half of them.
There's a ton, plus you've got affiliates, et cetera. And then some that aren't even affiliates that you get transfers.
Luckily, we don't have any A's up there from that county.
This is the first facility of its kind in the state.
And there probably isn't anybody in the whole country that's as good as what they are. I don't know. Could be close.
But they're like everybody else, they have issues keeping personnel as well.
Although there were a couple people there that, at the meeting that had been there for 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a really tight run ship.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. It's really not all I got.
Hey, Mark. We're here this morning to have a public hearing to hear about a land use change application that's been submitted by Dan Wortanen. Dan is down by Atkins, address is 7075 32nd Avenue. It's in section 15 of Fremont Township. On the west side of 32nd Avenue, it's about 600 feet just north of the intersection of 32nd and 71st Street. The parcel size here is 2.42 acres. There's numerous buildings on this parcel. If you look at the aerial that I sent to you, Dan wants to take an existing barn that's on that property, remodel it, and make it an event center. The property previously had a land use change in June of 2021. In that land use change, Dan requested to take an existing hog building that was on property and turn it into an Airbnb. You guys granted approval for that use, and of course now he'd like to do this event center. And so he's submitted the application as I told him that he'd need to do because he was creating a new non-agricultural use on the property. You can see by the supplied documents there where the barn is, highlighted in yellow, right in the middle of the parcel basically. The barn is on the original building site, as you can see. There's no ag land being taken out of production, so CSR here is irrelevant. Randy Sherwood has reviewed the driveway situation, submitted a report, tells us that it meets all of the Benton County's driveway policy requirements. And of course, it's coming off of a hard surface road, which is a plus. The property has rural water. It also has a well. The rural water being a public water supply works in favor of this particular use because there is a possibility that it could meet public water supply standards. You never know for sure when we're getting into this. This would be if indeed you approve it, the third event center in our county. And so far, both of the other event centers have done private water supplies, but just in case that the use would be terrific, and obviously that's what he's hoping it would be, but there is public water supply here. Obviously, with this use, we need to have a new septic system. And the new septic system, Dan has actually had a designer out on property already. It's going to be a similar system as what we have with the other two event centers. It's non-conventional. On this property, we already have an approved system for the house. There's an approved system for the Airbnb that was put in after you guys approved that particular use. And then this particular use would require a system, and we've all looked at it already, pre-construction meeting, site evaluation. It basically would run to the north and then to the east along the north edge of this property. With this type of use, what we do with the systems is we try to equalize our load due to the fact that, there could be the situation where they use a lot of waste, particularly one day a week. And so we equalize it. We put in additional septic tank and pump to the secondary treatment component. But it all can work, already been looked at. So it'd be a matter of doing it if indeed you approve the use. There's properties adjacent to cropland to the west and to the south. There's cropland to the east, and of course the ever-expanding city of Atkins. We sent out 2 adjacent property owner notices. That's all there is within 500 feet of this particular use. And of course we placed legal notices in the newspapers, official papers of Benton County. Had no responses prior to today's hearing. So with the land, there's no land being taken out of production. I didn't have any public comments in advance of today's hearing. It's very close proximity to the city. It's also off of a hard surface road. I don't see any real conflicts with this particular use. Any questions?
I have none. I make a motion that we approve this for this land use change for Dan 410.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot to tell you, Dan couldn't be here today. He had work commitments. He has
So this isn't Dan.
No.
No,
Okay.
this isn't Dan, sorry.
I have nothing to do with this.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Dan's otherwise occupied today with his business. You want me to take your hat?
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, on our reports, I had landfill meeting last Thursday night, worked on budget, everyone got that finalized.
So that's all done?
No, gonna wait till spring now to finish up
What do we got left to do?
the driveway, make it wider. So, a lot of people really like that new convenience area. Don't have to go down in the mud no more.
Yeah,
Stay up there high and dry and.
for small batches, you betcha.
And here lately, the wind, they got garbage sacks or whatever, somebody comes in there, that's a good place to put it, they're in a sack, all blow around, blow away, and.
Good.
But
Maybe I don't even need to be here.
But I know what you're here for.
Yes.
I would say He was on the hiring committee.
Okay,
Oh, for the closed session? For later?
Yeah,
It was just suggested I might wanna be here, and here I am, so.
okay.
That's on at 10:10 today,
Oh,
because
Okay.
Christine Maria is gonna call in and we'll go into the closed session.
okay. And will I participate in that in some way, or?
since
And he was on the hiring committee, yes,
Yeah, betcha.
yes.
Okay,
I don't know that she's got much other than just an update.
I think that's all it is.
yeah, I haven't heard anything, so
Okay,
it's,
good.
let's
We'll
hope
bring you up.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
here's something.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
then you'll get to hear, so.
okay.
If you wanna go somewhere for 50 minutes, or you can sit there.
So she's gonna, this is scheduled for 10:10?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she'll phone in,
Okay,
so it's up to you.
I'll come back.
Yeah.
You guys are very entertaining.
That's Tracy's Bulls comment, right?
Well, I'm just watching myself more carefully after that one, but yes. All right, I'll be back around 10 o'clock then. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I messaged Liz, make sure she knew we were here and that.
Sure.
Because I think I forwarded you guys that PowerPoint a while back.
Yep.
And do you know her in person? I sent her the signed agreement last week.
So is there anything special we need to do regarding this separation? Ms. Grader? Is there any questions?
I got questions.
Okay. So this is gonna be a sort of change,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you read it, it's gonna be heated.
a heated sort of
Yeah,
change.
if you read, Mark's letter that come along with it. The only thing I did not see is, my curiosity is, how big's the tank?
The capacity of it.
Yeah,
This gentleman left a phone number if you want to call him.
or the tank.
The guy that asked us to get this waiver
Oh,
through.
yeah, I know there's phone number there for a
If
minute.
you have any questions or concerns, here's his phone number.
And you don't think they won't be coming in?
I doubt it. Because that's what he was questioning Myron last week. Is there any progress on this waiver yet?
I guess, if Myron knows, when it comes, if not,
This gentleman's name Nick.
that's the waiver. Yeah, Jackson, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. It's for the engineering firm anyway. So don't hesitate to call, or at least that's the email Myron and Mark and I got.
Okay, that's what I'm hoping, I mean, Myron, because the digester itself was awful big. I'm going by, if you get your map out, 70 foot. That tank looks a lot bigger than that, looks like at least it's 100, 120, so I'm just guessing. And it looks like they're gonna have to have 2 new driveways.
This kind of reminds me of the scenario we were talking about here earlier this fall. I don't know if it's quite that big, obviously.
No, I think that's,
Yeah,
like I said, with Myron, he don't have the answers, we can call him. I don't wanna double up, plug into that, maybe Myron ask some questions.
sure. And the digesters that actually, not necessarily a storage, long-term storage or anything.
Well, if you you read the letter,
Yeah.
then it explains how it works.
That's it.
Up there, in order to do separation, the manure is heated in the tank, and the methane gas is collected off the manure and scrubbed into a natural gas. The one thing that catches my eye, the Iowa DNR has approved the construction of the digester site. Yeah. After reviewing the location and equipment needed for the digester to operate, we are proposing to relocate the digester tank 70 feet from the right of way. Iowa DNR has a 100-foot setback. So this is where I had a little problems with, because so we override the DNRs?
But the DNR's already approved it.
Yeah. But the Iowa DNR has a 100-foot setback for the waste storage structure.
But they have approved the location of it.
But what I'm getting at though.
They've approved the waiver.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that same thing had happened out there, with the hogging plant.
Mm-hmm. I don't understand why it even goes to us then. That's what I have.
Sure. I think it's just a formality. That's what I was told earlier. And I suppose if we had plans going out there, some big expansion as far as the road. I don't see anything, do you?
No housing development, or
It's your backyard.
yeah.
There ain't gonna be no housing.
9:30, we got 9:30.
Yes,
Good.
but she's not here yet.
Any budgets coming in yet to you?
Yeah, I've been getting some different stuff.
And
And then I got a couple letters from other entities or their scheduling.
Okay.
So I'll try to make you guys a folder.
Okay,
Binder and
that's fine.
next week, Thursday, did it.
Okay, okay.
We got what's that deal for beginning of the year?
Appointment?
No. It's, we do it every year.
We do a lot of things once a year, so you have to be more specific.
We gotta approve it by February. I don't know if we can do it now or not.
What's the DNR?
Capital? We waived that, we didn't do that resolution last year. Is that the one you're talking about?
What's that?
The capital resolution that we did?
No, there's a, we do it every year.
It'll come to you.
You got many names in for the appointments yet?
Not really. You called here and there, and I emailed out some forms, and it's on our website that was published.
I was curious about, wondering about replacing. It's contagious.
Rain fart?
Fencing house,
Oh, yeah, Kathy.
Cassie, yeah.
It's on your easy cog.
Yeah, that's hard very hard shoes to fill.
Sure.
Whoever we appoint, I want somebody that attends, not by name only.
Right.
It'd be hard to fill that.
So then I started thinking, and I'm just throwing this out here, what about Kate Roberts? Just food for thought. Just think of that.
Kate Robertson.
Yeah.
Not necessarily a development area. They work with housing.
She works with the Eastern Iowa Housing. Just the name I'm throwing out. I think she'd be somebody that would attend the meetings. I mean, they're only once a month.
Yeah. I get it.
I thought about, the other ones I even thought of, like bankers. I don't know whether a banker would be willing to,
Well, you don't, so you have to ask something.
I mean, there's a couple bankers I thought about asking, but I think the plates are usually put full. They really don't want to take nothing on anymore.
Okay.
Those are probably the ones you want. But if they do it, they'd probably be good.
That was another thing I was thinking, because when it comes to Joe Cool Public, is somebody that's retired or, just retired, are they gonna winter down south?
Right.
There you're gone from December, January, February, March, so they come back right in south. And that's when a lot of people from the Housing Trust Fund applies for it. This year, we haven't had any emergency meetings because like a furnace went out, a water heater went out, where the people didn't have any money and, they get a hold of Tracy on that deal and then boom, we have a emergency meeting and we get it fixed up. I know last year we had a furnace in, Belle Plaine that we replaced. And that was kind of I think it was like within 3 days, 4 days, furnace was in.
Wow.
And when it went out, we got a
It
heat.
was still a long time. It was heat.
Mm-hmm. This was during the cold part
Yeah.
of the winter, so. Just food for thought, I'm just throwing that out there. I just happened to think of this last week and.
Good recall. She is very outgoing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've reached out.
I think she would help, like, more on the the Eastern Iowa Trust Fund, Housing Trust Fund, because like, she knows the houses, she knows what's going on in all these towns, and,
Yeah. You have her contact information.
oh, yeah.
She just has to serve Benton County.
Yeah, well, she serves on the board,
Well, it's on the board,
Yeah.
which is, yeah.
But she would have to
she
do,
represents that
Right.
county.
but she wouldn't have to do any houses outside the area.
She would not have to.
But they approve houses outside of that county.
But she'd be the expert here. Probably.
It should be like Tracy's on the board.
Yeah,
Right, but if she's gonna take care of some of these houses, she'd have knowledge.
She doesn't take care of
well, she don't take care of it, she'd just be on the board, and she could relay the message to a contractor or somebody that's got a furnace one bad or a water heater ain't got no money. She could give them Tracy Albrecht's name and then boom, and we'd have to have a meeting and.
Yeah. And as far as any trust funds or anything for some of those development things, she would have a lot of contacts along that line.
That's right, that's right.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's hard shoes to fill.
Sure.
That one is really hard. Nope. All right.
We need to take a little break.
Yeah.
If we need to bore the public.
Yeah, but she don't like that and start.
Well, I can't on that, I don't remember that. Liz,
I don't know if we're gonna do anything different. Okay.
I sent a beautiful PowerPoint. I don't know if you guys have it in front of you or.
I had emailed it to, well, 2 weeks ago probably when we originally spoke.
Yes. And you guys already signed the shared liability agreement, which is amazing, because I'm still waiting on some other counties to do that. But my name's Liz Rodriguez. I'm the Executive Director of the East Central Iowa Workforce Development Board. And Rick has been a wonderful representative from Benton County he's come to some of our board meetings, actually a couple. And I've been in the job for about 4 months. So if you guys know anything about the East Central Iowa workforce area, Benton is a part of the overall, counties with Jones, Johnson, Cedar, Iowa, and Washington. I think I probably missed one. Lynn. Yep, Lynn. So I'm here today. Why? I'm here today. So the shared liability was a big deal, and you guys already signed that, so that's really good. The state, so Iowa Workforce Development, is asking for our local workforce area to identify a new local grant recipient for our Title I funds. That's a lot of what I do, is I work with Rick, the other elected officials in that group, and then the workforce board, which Pat Lyons is our vice chair, from this county. So you guys have really good representation on that board. So they're asking for us to identify a new local grant recipient. So Title I grant monies that come to our area, this past year, it was about, I think, $2 million. It's not usually that high, but they're asking for either a county or an entity, a local entity, to be designated to receive those funds. And I'm talking to you about it today because, again, Rick is the primary voting member from this county. So we're looking at Washington. Actually, we're not. So the law says that Washington County, because Bob Yoder is from there, he's the lead. He's kind of the chair of that group, right? That's how you guys would probably describe it. So the state said either the lead elected official, who's Bob Yoder, Washington County, has to accept those funds for the local workforce area, or he can designate maybe another county or another entity. The biggest part of my spiel is that we're looking at ECOG to be the local grant recipient. So to take all of those funds and disperse them, appropriately via contract to our service providers, be my employer of record, also for us to use their procurement processes for when we, need different types of services and things like that. So I don't know if you guys had any concerns about that, any thoughts about that.
Do you care about that?
Do you care about that at all?
So ECOG would be the fiscal agency.
No, they would be I've talked to the executive director. I'm hoping that they will be the grant recipient. So they will actually be receiving the grant monies directly from Iowa Workforce Development. And the reason why we were looking at them, so right now, Johnson County is our fiscal agent. Jones County is our employer of record, is for board staff, the employer of record. And there's so much inefficiency in just the nature of, okay, the fiscal agent, or Jones County paid my salary. So now the invoice has to go to Johnson County. They have to reconcile that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, we need to be a more lean organization because we just don't have the time, right? I mean, it's me and one other person that's running the board and keeping my elected officials understanding what's going on. And I have a lot of fun with it, but right now I'm spending time like reconciling invoices for our fiscal agent, and I'm like, okay, I'm not even good at that. So we need somebody who's really, that's what they do. So ideally, ECOG would become the local grant recipient. And again, in the slide deck, I took materials that IWD gave me and a lot of the elected officials across the state, and I tried to simplify it, right? So it's like, they'd be the employer of record, they would administer the,
He printed his out.
he read it, he knows it already. They would be they would, conduct the fiscal agent duties, which, when I looked at their mission, and frankly, John Bell, I don't know if you're familiar, from Cedar County, he was the one that originally was like, they might be a really great organization to look at to do this. So they have a board meeting on the 26th of January. I will go. I've already met with her. I've given her our budget. I've given her, they can charge up to 10. She said they charge the de minimis rate for, taking on that kind of work. And I said, that's great. We can afford that. If they take the 10% off the top, it still allows for, me to have my salary and for Phyllis, our other board staff, to have our salary and do all the other things that we need to do. So it looks like a great deal. It's just, what I've heard is that it's actually the dealing with the state that sometimes is kind of a bear, just as far as them having money where it needs to be, when it needs to be there, and so on and so forth. And that, all of that, drawdown and all those types of things. So we'll see what she says. She said that she's going to talk to some of the other COGs in the state and see what they, recommend and how they do this. I also met with the Lynn County Board of Supervisors yesterday, and I said, if ECOG cannot take on that role, then I'm probably going to ask Lynn County to see if they can. Now, if you guys wanted to do it, that'd be fine too. You guys put your hat in the ring.
Okay. Well, okay, so they got rid of the watershed, and that was a lot. So.
Well, and that's Washington County was in the same boat. They're like, look, we got enough on our plates,
Yeah, we're definitely smaller staff than Lynn.
Yes.
So
and that was the main reason to go to talk to Lynn about it. Again, one of the things I want to try to do is make it to all of my Board of Supervisors meetings and just give these types of updates, because whether you know it or not, the money's flowing into Benton County as well, and we want to make sure that it's being managed the right way. And again, since I'm here, I actually want to ensure that all of our outlying, more rural counties are represented and are getting the services that they need to, get job seekers to good jobs and get our businesses lined up with quality candidates. So anyway, so that's the purpose of the funds.
The only other difference is, as she's saying, there is up to a 10% fee that we could recover.
but that doesn't go.
Well, that's what ECOG charges, because right now, I bet you're not paying anything, are you?
We are.
You are?
Johnson County, we pay $35,000 a year to them.
That's as a fiscal agent.
As a fiscal agent. And then Jones County, we pay, I want to say it's a 4% payroll, that administrative fee for 4% of my salary and Phyllis's salary. So I think when I did the math, it's like, right now we're paying about $45,000 to two counties to administer chunks of this monstrous infrastructure. And again, with the redundancy of, I mean, it's not redundancy, it's more like rework. So what I'm hoping is, and that's what I've talked to Karen about, is, hey, you guys take this on. We're already paying $45,000. We could probably pay up to $55,000 if you needed to hire another person or whatever. Because in addition, we would use their procurement processes as well. So we have, I think, 3 different contracts that we have to RFP and competitively bid for. And as to this point, other local areas, like, I would be doing that. I'm like, no, that's not a good idea. We need to have somebody who knows how to do that. I mean, I can do it, but, so we would be using them for that as well. So we'll
contract that.
I'm not advocating that we should do it, but unlike the watershed, which was a total pass-through that just cost the accounting of it, the time and materials, this thing at least through her, we at least get reimbursed. So we don't necessarily need one more thing to do.
But thanks for being open-minded about it. So that was that. I just wanted, again, to give you guys an update on that. And then the other thing that's much, I think, smaller, I don't know, maybe you guys care quite a bit about it. So the state, IWD, I don't know how much you guys were ever involved in the realignment discussions. No one, no, nobody, okay. So that's fine. Basically, the local workforce area gets a big chunk of money. And what the state wants to do is make the local workforce areas bigger. And, I think we have a really great chunk of counties. And I think that we are doing great work. Kirkwood is our service provider, and we can do better work. And so, something that IWD was pushing was that we would align with South Central local workforce area. I was not a fan of that idea for multiple reasons. Now, Jason or Josh from Powesheik County, I don't know if you guys know which board of supervisor, I can't remember if it's Josh or Jason, but he did want to look at aligning with East Central, right, with our area, which I totally get, because there's Tama, there's Powesheik, and I think there's Hennepin. Basically, they kind of they're the furthest away from Marshalltown and Ottumwa, which is where those Iowa work centers are. So I frankly don't know how good a services they're being provided. So I get why he wanted to realign, but Bob Yoder already wrote IWD and said, hey, look, I get why they're interested, but we're not interested in the line with that. So that's another update I just wanted to give you guys. Do you have any questions for me about anything?
I'm still trying to learn the thing.
There's a lot of things to learn.
Yeah.
But you have me now.
I know.
Yes.
Shoulder to lean on.
Yes. So the next step with the local grant recipients conversation is I'm waiting. I think we have a couple of elected officials that are turning over for this new calendar year. I think from Lynn and Johnson County. So my goal is to have this next meeting with our new elected officials with Rick at the table the first week of February, because IWD wants us to have the decision made or to ask for an extension by the 28th of February to say who our local subrecipients is going to be for these funds. So that's the next step there. And yeah, and like I said, I'm leaning on Rick, because if what I want to make sure I'm doing is demonstrating how our services are helping all of our counties, and if there's a need that we're not filling, that's something that I want to know about so that we can do better. Like, I know we have a new Title IV, an Iowa vocational rehab person in this space, I think, right? Okay. I'm going to visit with her today. Her name's Ashley. She's like brand new. But those are the types of things we want you guys you know, to be having access to.
No, I think it's good, because
So-
everything else has been going on, it's been forward to.
That's all I have.
Have you been employed? Quite a drive just for that.
It's worth it.
Geez, something.
I'm not coming here every day. Just once a quarter. Next time I might bring donuts. I wanted to, but I just didn't have time.
My question on the Easy Cog deal,
Yeah,
they're gonna charge 10% of what you receive,
yes,
that's their fee?
yeah, they charge the de minimis rate from what I've,
Okay, so they get 200,000
Based off the two
off the
million.
2 million. I'm just throwing these figures out, right?
Yeah.
Now, that 200,000, that fee that'll run until that 2 million's gone, or they get 200,000. I'm guess what I'm looking at. You get the $2 million Friday, all right, and you don't spend it. You know, you save it in the bank for a year or 2 years, but Easy Cog's only gonna get 200,000 to maintain that $2 million fund until it's gone, right?
yes, the piece of that story that's missing is that Title I funds are dispersed, and on an annual basis. So, and that 200,000, some of it goes directly to them, and then some of it is for my salary and for my staff salary. So it's all administrative, so it'll cover all of those administrative types of things. So, and you know what I did mention, and it's kind of related to your question, is that IWD has given us an example of what this local subrecipient agreement looks like. So really, when they put that together, and they said they might have it by the middle of January, you know, then I'll know a little bit more about exactly, you know what I mean, what the agreement looks like, what the responsibilities are, blah, blah, blah. So maybe I'll come back here end of January to show that. But for sure, either way, I'll have a discussion with Rick about it and just say, look, I read this over, and this, you know, and this doesn't look good, or whatever it is. Because we'll meet that first week of February, and we may say, absolutely not, you know, or this is amazing.
Sure.
So that's a good question. All right,
Thank you.
thank you so much for having me.
And I did send you that signed one, right? So we're
You
good.
did, thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful holiday.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Morning. Morning.
Hello, Myron.
Quick wage classification change resolution. Shane Clark will have a year in next week on the 27th. Changes his wage from what it is to $25.84, and his classification will be a 4C as an equipment operator. Take a motion. So in action.
And I would second that motion.
All in favor?
Alright.
Aye. Resolution. By resolution.
River aye.
Pearson, aye. Seaman, aye.
Earlier this year, I came in talking about the city of Norway. Their official population, based on the census, dropped below 500, which means the road use tax money, or some of the road use tax money that they have traditionally gotten directly themselves, would come to that county secretary roads based on the percentage of their farm to market extensions for the town. Norway's farm to market extension roads, just as a real quick overview, is Railroad Street, which is the street that parallels the railroad tracks on the north side from the ballpark all the way through town, going out east of town. And then Euclid is a road that goes south, and if you were to look at the depot convenience store and go south out of town, and then actually Florence Street or 29th Avenue, the far west end of town, that goes north off by the Bald Island, going south. Part of that on the east side is city limits. It's a rock road that we maintain, it only goes to the
south of the railroad tracks. Back a little over 10 years ago when the TJ bill went through, at that time there were 3 communities in Benton County that had a population under 500. ISAC had helped draft some language for a 28E agreement, and how the communities wanted to handle things. Primarily is if we could get some of that money back, what we need to do would be kind of the gist of things. Norway wanted to do what Garrison had done at that time, and that we will continue to take care of the maintenance through Norway. We would just like to have that money back if we can. Well, the first rendition of what was drawn up on that agreement didn't say that after I read through there, and so we've been tweaking it back and forth. We got down to where it says exactly what they were planning on doing. Wasn't ask the county to do anything for no expense, which is what I was reading before. And so what I have today is the 28E agreement, giving the city of Norway the money that the county receives for that farm market extension. We get it on a monthly basis. We go online to the Iowa Treasurer's website. It lists what that amount is. We will cross-reference that with what the Treasurer's office receives that month. And what the agreement asks for states is that more or less during one copy of standing talking copy of Garrison, I paid them all at the end of the fiscal year, whatever we have received minus the June payment. But because it's usually the third Tuesday or Wednesday of the month before we get it, and particularly at the end of the fiscal year in June, since you're closing the expenditures usually by the middle of June, my comment to them is I don't think we're going to be able to give you June payment during that same fiscal year. You know, that 1 month would have to be the following fiscal year. But on the bottom of page 2 and the top of page 3, that what we receive between June 1st and November 30th, we will pay in December, and then what we receive between December 1st and May 31st, we will pay that in June. Because this just started this year, there was actually no payment they received that we received for the month of July. It didn't start until August. So this first year, they're going to get 100% of their, or minus June payment of fiscal year 23 and fiscal year 23. Starting in fiscal year 24, you will have that June payment of June that we receive of 23 will be paid in fiscal year 24 with the first payment. But they were asking for 2 payments in fiscal year versus just one sum at the end of the fiscal year like they do in years. Otherwise, these 2 agreements virtually mirror itself on the 2 cities asking for all of what we receive back in exchange. They will take care of all the maintenance going on those segments that runs through town all year long. You know, like Garrison, Norway, our trucks during the wintertime, we're going to have to go through Norway to get through things. And so there's some sharing, but the initial snow removal, those cities are out in the middle of the night or early in the morning. A lot of times they've already got that first pass made before we get there. So all of the work's already been done. But if the board's in acceptance and agreement with treating Norway like we do with Garrison, basically the difference between 2 payments in fiscal year instead of 1, that's what this agreement means. The city has been discussing that here for the last couple of months. I've got original copy in hand that the mayor and the city clerk signed.
I don't know that I've not read it, but I don't have any issues. But sense.
And like, I mean, if we run into an issue, the agreement explains the action that either party needs to take to, you know, modify it or correct it.
Corrected.
Mhm.
You betcha. Okay.
If we, you know, like we start doing more work than we have ever done before, you know, I'd be the first one to quickly ask that we should revisit it. Having sat down and talked with the current mayor of Norway and their city employee here earlier this year, their intent was to continue doing business like they have done in the past. They just knew it was gonna be less revenue coming in, and if we were in agreement to returning that to them, that's what they'd like to sit down and discuss. And I just want
That all makes perfectly good sense.
make sure that we wouldn't be asked to do something more, if so, then I'd want to be compensated for it. And that's not what the village was intending to do. Unfortunately, that's how the agreement got worded to begin with, and I said, no, before I would take this before you, we're gonna change that. And they agreed.
Makes sense. We've done this with Garrison for years, so I'll make a motion that we approve this 28 agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Is this by resolution?
Yeah, usually we do 28 days by resolution. I'll type up something that is
Okay, then you'll sign that. Grammar aye.
You're shaking. Stephen, aye.
attached. But then I don't have to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Summarize it.
Those are they. Getting us back in population. Is it pretty close or?
Well, to go the other direction, it'd take a lot. The way that law was written with, was it 03 with the transfer, all those communities that were below 500 would start right away. If your population ever fell below 500, you get added, which is this. For it to revert directly back to the city, population has to exceed 750. So it doesn't matter just getting, if there was some like over 500, it was a larger number that you have to get above before this turns back to the old way, and all of that road use tax money goes directly to them. So I think that's your question.
Yeah, I was scared of something like that.
But as long as you've got a city and a county that would work together, I mean, financially, they're coming out the same way here with this 2018 agreement, as long as they continue to do that. Many communities, when you start, research that was done back in the 01, 02 timeframe when this was being developed, I think, is that you find a number of cities that 500 seemed to be about the breaking point where they either had part-time or no street help in the community. And so it was kind of a compromise to try to help them out. Now, those cities that do have an employee taking $14,000 out of their revenue stream has a huge impact, which is about a third of what this amounts to for the city of Norway. Can I handle this? I can try. I guess did you ask any questions? No? May I, outside of the drawings that you see in the email message that I copied you, is that based on the engineer's design, this is where they felt they needed to put that digester. Its location is, you know, less than the 100-foot setback that the DNR requires. Where it's located is what's still 70 feet from the right-of-way line, and so it's still, that county doesn't have any setback requirements or anything like that. I mean, you've got 70 feet back behind you as if you right-of-way line, which, you know, from a waste standpoint, from our, without zoning aspect, you know, buildings could be
physically right on the right of way line if somebody puts something out. But that close proximity to the right of way can cause us some problems, but we don't have any requirement anybody force them to put it that far away. They're implying that this is really the only good location for them to do that there. To try to get it 30 more feet away from that is not going to work for them. Outside of that, just looking at it and reading it, no, I didn't have any other questions that I wanted to ask them.
Okay. I guess we could probably handle this afterwards. You won't have to be here for that. We're gonna have a phone call any minute.
Okay.
Well, this isn't much to me, we just need to make a
And then
motion to
just
approve it.
scan it back to that guy,
Okay.
and then I'll scan it back to him.
I guess I just wondered, questions on the tanks, how big the tanks and how
Tank
wide.
size, you want
Yeah.
to call it?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, that was my,
Okay, yeah, we can.
I mean, if you got something going on,
we can
well,
call
that's
it.
all I was just curious.
Mhm.
about. What size? of the
No,
tank.
I seem to be the one he was contacting by email.
Okay,
When I learned last week who I needed to come to, I just thought, before I forget about it, and
perfect.
add more time to it, I'll just go ahead and get it on your agenda and try to keep things moving forward for you.
Okay.
Otherwise, that's all I have.
Okay.
Today.
Nice.
Thank you, Myron.
Take care, Jeff.
Nice seeing you.
Same here.
Merry Christmas.
You too. You might spend it at home this time.
It's looking that way.
Even if you intended to go somewhere, I think you're gonna spend it at home.
Yep. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Guys getting all ready?
Huh?
Guys getting all ready?
Yep.
Uh,
Hopefully we can get ready for nothing. That would be my hope, but
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
if not, we're gonna try to be as ready as we can be. Take care.
I was taking well good care of my road, so I don't have any complaints.
Merry Christmas,
Nice to
Myron.
You too, guys. See ya.
Oh, Myron, good question. You get a chance, step it off between the two walk-in doors that was in the shop to the east and the walk-in door that goes into Randy's office.
Yep.
They're 48 foot in there.
I'll have to measure for sure.
You don't have to run a tape, just step it off.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 48 or more, perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
I know there's caught up.
I got the curiosity of why.
Question for you. You too.
Makes sense.
Stems back from the computer system that they got.
Well, Doug sits out there in the hallway.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Snapper sat there for years.
So, Ken, our IT guy, he wants me to build a room to set the IT stuff, computers and all that. It makes sense, keep it clean, right, keep them out of the dust and all that. And I mean, the diesel smoke that's inside that building is tremendous. It was a slimy mess. I mean, it was made in the 60s or 70s, you know, and you don't think nothing of it. The more I start looking at it, well, then I build a small, like a closet or something to put all this stuff in, it creates heat. Then we gotta put some kind of a, air conditioner or separate unit in it to keep it. I can't use the furnace that they got now because that's still fucking oil for dust and crap out of the shop. When I come up with the idea, you guys need more room. Hopefully this winter, my slow period, I'm gonna make some blueprints. See what, how much.
Has there been problems
problems with their computer system out there, you know, and their everything. Yeah, they gotta move that upstairs where Ben and Vernon kind of in the open. I suggested to hang, cheesecloth on top of the framework. Keep the dust back.
Really?
Yeah. That was my suggestion. I said, still breathe with the cheesecloth with.
Perhaps on particles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know my stuff is so filled with dirt and dust. You know,
So that's why I told them the idea that, you know, we had on,
yeah, just
that would help all the way around.
all the exhaust fumes and dirt and dust that comes from the shop. It just filters in everywhere.
Is anybody?
Email you.
Get an email as far as reserved dates, though.
That's it. He don't even have that. You can read my email.
I got an email about the March dates.
Yes.
Yes, I did get that.
Okay.
Yeah, Kristen sent it to me.
Okay.
Thank you. You had to change vacation plans.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
All right.
Have a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful with the weather in the next few years.
I'm gonna try.
Let's stay inside.
Yeah. Little interactions I've had with the public makes me appreciate what you guys must go through. So,
We need to go into closed session.
Until we get her on the phone.
Hello, this is Christy Marie.
Hey, Christy Marie, this is Haley in the Benton County Auditor's Office.
Hi, Haley. I figured that we were entering the closed session, but wasn't sure because I can still see you on camera. So,
Oh, yeah, but they're waiting to make a motion if you guys are suggesting that.
yeah.
I'll make a motion that we go into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.51C. How did they print that out?
Second. All in favor?
Back on.
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh, it's better.
Because I've been told
Chastised?
that before. Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna call his cell phone, please?
Yeah, we're gonna talk.
See ya.
Whoa. That was calling somebody's intercom.
507. Wait.
Okay?
Yep. We got a friend.
I'm on his cell.
Oh, that's, yeah. That's what I call it. There you go.
Oh, I didn't connect.
Yep.
Hi, Nick.
Nick, this is a Tracy
Yeah.
Sim, Benton County Supervisor.
Yeah,
Hey, we're kind of going over your report that you sent down here for the Blairstown Dairy.
yep.
Okay, question. On the tanks, how big are they? How wide are they?
Give me 1 second here.
How many gallons did that go? How many gallons?
Want to make sure I give you guys the exact thing here. It's just let me get it open here.
Okay.
The tanks are 115 foot in diameter.
Both?
Yep.
I see the flared one looks like it's smaller, but that could be just a diagram.
The flare, that would be, the flare is just like a pipe through there, so that's a lot smaller, yes.
Okay.
And the height would be 30 foot tall.
Wow.
How many gallons will that hold?
About 1.8 million gallons.
Holy cow. That's quite
So
a bit.
big slurry, it's kind of a big slurry store above ground, covered.
That's probably a harvester then?
Something very similar to that, yes.
Okay. And the second one is too?
Yeah, so they have, they're both 2 digester tanks. One's a future one, that one isn't gonna be constructed right away.
Oh, the second one ain't gonna be done right away?
No, not right away.
Okay. I'm looking at the last sheet of that packet that was sent to us, but it looks like the second tank, the south one, is closer to the road than the first one. Or is it just because of the drawing that way? I hope.
Yes,
Okay,
yes. Yeah,
okay. And then secondary roads will have to be notified for the driveways. It looks like they want a really long, wide driveway,
Yes,
and there'll have to be culverts in that too.
right.
Because where they're stockpiling the reclaimed sand up there, that's fall to the south there too. Actually, it's fall all the way along there. So it'll have to be culverts.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a driveway just.
And they should be doing that should be pretty much done with that now. It'll have, they won't need to have such a stockpile of sand anymore with their different sand separation system they have installed.
Okay. Go ahead, Rick.
Well, they've already.
Yeah, and then so, just to clarify, I guess here, so yeah, on the site plan that you guys have, it just shows the one digester tank. There is a future one proposed north of that that is not shown on that drawing. And then the further south one is the flare, which is just that small little rectangle. And that circle really represents how far anything has to be away from that flare. So there's no structure on that second circle, other than that the little rectangular inside of it.
And that rectangle is gonna be, 100 feet from the road?
That would be a little bit closer. That would be, it'd be 100 feet from the road, yes. It would be about 70 feet from the right of way. The circle around there, it represents a fence around the flare.
Oh, okay.
Second tank proposed would be the same size, height, and capacity.
Yes. Yeah.
So we could have.
And there's no immediate plan for that.
No,
But yeah, that would be the exact same.
but there's potential for 3.6 million gallons of storage there, of manure.
Correct.
That's nothing like a hog confinement, I'll tell you that.
Well, no, you're right. This isn't adding any waste. It's just taking the manure before it goes into the lagoons and putting it in these tanks. We're not generating any extra waste. It's just taking it before it goes to the lagoons, heating it up, collecting the methane gas that comes off of it, and cleaning that gas for renewable natural gas, and then going back into the lagoon. Should be a pretty significant reduction in odor off the lagoons from this.
Well, that was
They
my
just kind of pinched in
question.
that corner there, and they just was hoping to get a little bit closer to the right way.
That was my question as to, what the odor's gonna be like. If they're gonna trap the methane gas, then there should not be any venting out into the atmosphere, correct?
Correct, yep, they don't vent anything. If there's any issues, it would get flared off. So if it was, they couldn't clean the gas for some reason to haul it off-site, then they would flare it.
Okay.
There would be no emissions off of this. And the lagoon, there's all kinds of different publications. I mean, they say anywhere from 50% all the way up to, I've heard as high as 90% odor reduction from this. So it definitely is a pretty big reduction of odor from the lagoons. It's kind of a varying, odor is kind of hard to measure, and it's varying degrees of it.
Well, realistically, it should clean up the air pollution, the odor pollution of the area. Although with a flare out there burning, it's gonna look like a petroleum plant.
Yeah. Yep, and then I hope that it's not flaring very often,
Yeah.
but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So we gotta sign this waiver then?
Yeah, we're looking for that waiver to get signed so that we can go within a 100-foot separation distance to the right of way.
But the Iowa DNR, they're the ones that set this 100-foot up, right?
Right, exactly. It's not you're right, exactly. It's not a county setback, it's a DNR setback, but they require the county to sign off on it if we were trying to build within it.
Okay, now I understand. I'm looking at we're overriding the DNR.
No, you're not overriding them. They allow this. We've done it in a lot of different counties. Just every county seems to handle it a little different. If it's the board of supervisors that sign it, or the county engineer, or zoning director. So there's a little confusion there. I sent it to everybody in the county, and now it's in front of you guys. And yeah, so we are just trying to get a little bit closer to the right of way, kind of a pinched area there, not a lot of room. After we get this, we go back and get your county driveway permits and things like that. Once we know that the site is approved where we have it proposed.
So whenever you put in this second tank, it's gonna have a lid on it as well? It'll be just like the first tank?
Absolutely. Exactly.
Is it gonna require a setback as well of 100 feet?
Yes, it would. Yep, so we would have to come back and get a second waiver for that unless you want to put specifically for 2 tanks on this waiver. But if you'd like to see how it works before you granted a second one, that'd be fine.
It looks like there might be room to go to the west a little bit on the second tank. On this picture.
A little bit, there is a couple, there's like, we got like the electrical transformer and generator and some other, natural gas equipment kind of off to the northwest of where the second tank would go. But I would think we could make it work if we had to.
And what about,
Hopefully, it's not an issue, and when we need it, we can get the second one.
what about the berms? I mean, that'll go beyond that 70 foot, won't it?
Yeah, we don't do anything, there won't be any changes to the lagoon, and nothing there, so no berms or nothing like that.
Nothing around the tank?
Yeah, so,
You're kidding.
nope, nothing around the tank.
So if the tank ruptures, it's just gonna go all over God's creation.
Yep.
I would have thought there'd been berms.
I mean, there is,
My God, you burn everything.
it's heavily it's all permitted, it's heavily, it's daily people there, all pretty much 24/7. They get leakage tested before they use them, so it's heavily monitored there.
What's the life
It's no
expectancy?
different than, like you said, a harbor store, storage store for like a hog barn. So they have some similar tanks, they're just not covered like on a hog barn. So that there is.
Yeah, I won't care. Sorry, we were just kind of joking about the life expectancy being 40 years and how most of us won't really care by then. So, yeah. But, yeah, wow. I'd hate to be the little boy that's got to stick his finger in that leak, like.
Well, thanks, Nick. I think you answered all our questions.
All right, if you have anything else, just feel free to call.
If
Okay.
they sign this, I'll just scan it to you, is that okay?
Yeah, and then that will have to have the recorder's stamp on it.
Oh, okay, so record it first and then give it back to you.
Yes, I just need a copy of the recorder's stamp on it.
Okay, perfect.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.
Makes a hog confinement time looked like small potatoes. 1.8 million, and they're gonna put a second tank, potentially, and there's no berms. They don't require it. Oh my God.
I was wondering what they're gonna put in the tanks exactly. If they're gonna put in harvesting tanks when they're class 9,
With a 40-year life expectancy.
they'll last more than 40 years.
Well, okay, that's all well and good, as long as somebody doesn't run into the damn thing and spring a leak. Just have to have a few trucks pulling around that in a circle, you know, okay. Wow, I just can't believe there's no burn. Because that thing that's coming out of Cedar Rapids is at least burned. It had berm on it. The road was elevated, it came up to it, wasn't it?
Yeah, berm, I think, behind it to hold it from getting down to the creek or something, but it was level on the east side where they load in the pit. That was all level there, where that concrete pit was, where they dumped their semis off, that was level there, but yeah, behind it,
Behind it.
you know, to keep it out of the field, yeah, there was.
Sure.
There was a berm there. Yeah, how do I know?
Just remember it's uphill from the city of Blairstown.
They want to grant it?
You want to grant it?
I think it'll be less stake there.
I think it would have, if it works, it would have less odor. I think it would be a good thing for the surrounding area, you know.
Especially the people east, we don't hardly ever smell it in Blairstown. There is a day or two in the spring for whatever they're pumping.
Is that your motion to approve it?
So,
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Alright. Is that a free one?
Sign that one. You sign it here. And then I'll have to look at it.
is that it for today?
I don't know.
Yep, I think so.
I'll move we adjourn.
Second,
I will second it.
all in favor?